All right, Taylor, go ahead and take it away.
Awesome, thank you. Like I said, my name is Taylor Rogers, and I have Nancy Hernandez here with me as well. We're from Footsteps Marketing. So I am a marketing services specialist here. One of my main focuses is actually on Habitat for Humanity. I work a lot with our local ReStore in the Roaring Fork Valley, and I also focus a lot on social media.
And my name's Nancy Hernandez, like you can see here on the slide, and I also focus on social media. I focus a little bit more on Facebook and on Instagram.
So today we're going to be discussing a lot about email marketing and best practices. We're going to go over how to collect emails, best practices, some policies that go along with email marketing, mostly privacy concerns. We'll talk about how to feature your products through your emails, how to generate direct sales, and how to engage your community as well.
So we'll go ahead and get started. As you can see, this PowerPoint is about how to get the most out of your email campaigns. In order to be able to send email campaigns and have an audience, one of the main things that you need to do is collect emails, of course. This can be difficult, but it can also be extremely easy depending on the tactics that you choose to use. Some of the easy ones would be to incentivize your employees. So what this means is that if you have like an iPad or a cell phone or anything, or even a piece of paper just by a cash register, you could always incentivize your employees to ask your customers and say, hey, we have a lot of sales going on, or if you ever want to see what we have in store or any of our new products or events, if you give us your email, we can go ahead and add you to our email list so you can go ahead and get our newsletter every month. That's something that's super easy. It's word of mouth, and it can go a long way. Another thing is giveaways. Giveaways is obviously a very, very easy way to collect emails, because when you say enter your email to win a certain prize, a lot of people are more likely to give their email to you easier. This giveaway can be anything from like 20% off coupon to something in store or something small that you have in your Habitat store or anything like that. Also, every time you have events, I know here in the Roaring Fork Valley, the Habitat for Humanity has a golf event that they put on every summer. One of the things that they have at their golf event is an email sign-up sheet. This sign-up sheet is just where everybody goes to get their register form, and this also goes a long way because you get more exposure, not only to people that donate to Habitat for Humanity, but also people that would like to volunteer, and different sorts of emails that are good for the store. Another thing would be to, if you currently do have a website, would be to have a newsletter sign up on your website. That's very important because the more exposure you get to get any emails, the better. Obviously, when you are sending out emails, you want to have a larger audience because that will help you have a bigger open rate, a bigger exposure rate, and a bigger conversion rate if you are selling products through your email. And last is when you, like for example, on Facebook, on Instagram, on any of your social media tactics, it's good to have a call to action. What this means is pretty much to have something that says to sign up to your emails. So just having that exposure, once again, goes a long way just to collect emails. There's different ways, but those are some of the most effective ways.
Awesome. So next we're going to talk about best practices for email marketing, specifically for Habitats. So you really want to try to build your own list. I know there's some services out there where you can purchase an email list from the beginning when you're getting started. We don't recommend that personally, just because you can't track people as easily on that, and it sort of gives you this like false sense that you have a better open rate. We like organic email lists and using the tactics that Nancy mentioned previously to do that. Also, as she was talking about earlier, just promoting your email sign-up in-store on your social media platforms is a good way to start organically building that list. And then you can reach customers that come into your ReStores and your regular customers that help with donations and stuff like that as well. Also, in your emails, it's very important to have a clear and compelling call to action. For example, in the ReStores here, we have 3 emails that we send out a month. We have a bargain buyer email, a treasure hunter email, and also a ReStore roundup email. All 3 of those emails within the first paragraph establishes what the email is supposed to be and directs customers to either click through to certain products or click through to blog posts or leave reviews, stuff like that. Another best practice to get the most of your emails is to, we recommend annually cleaning up your contact list. So this just means just going through, seeing who's still active, who's unsubscribed to your email contact list, who hasn't opened an email in usually 3 months is a good sign that they aren't very active, and you want to clean those customers out. This way it'll produce better results in your analytics when you're trying to see how well your emails are doing. And also it's a good time where you can put out a re-engagement campaign, which is super simple. You can do it in 3 easy emails, sending one saying, hey, we miss you, here is a 20% off coupon, like come back and subscribe to our emails or check out our emails more regularly. And you can send a follow-up email to that, and if they don't engage, don't open those emails, that's a good sign that you can take them off your list as well. Another way to review your engagement is through A/B testing, which we think is an awesome tool. It's super easy to test. So basically you're going to have email A, and you're going to send that out, let's say 10 a.m. on a Monday morning, and you're going to do that consistently for about a month. And then if you want to test to see if people will more likely to open it later in the afternoon, for the next month you can send email B, let's say at 3 o'clock or 3:30 on a Monday, when people are less likely to be checking their emails and getting caught up from work. And then you can go back in and review to see how well those 2 have performed. Pick the best one, and then you can go from there, and those should be the times that you send out your emails every week. Another great practice, as we mentioned, kind of with the email sign-up, is segmentation. So a lot of email generators like MailChimp or Emma let you use segmentation through birthdays, through people's locations, to the products that they've purchased recently, or for their interests. So you can kind of send out different emails to different customers based on those certain attributes.
Cool. So next we'll talk about the platforms a little bit. There's a few different platforms that you could use if you are trying to explore different options for email marketing. Obviously, every different platform has its pros and its cons. The ones that we use here at Footsteps Marketing are MyEmma and MailChimp. We use MyEmma a lot more than we use MailChimp. However, for our Habitat for Humanity emails, we do use MailChimp since they've already established an account with them. There's some other ones that if you wanted to check out are Constant Contact, ConvertKit, and Active Campaign. These are also platforms that hold emails and have the ability to give you back reporting, to create your own emails through drag and drop, drop in just HTML code or any of those. Like I said before, I'm a little bit biased because we use Emma here all the time. Emma has a lot of great attributes like being able to create your own emails by just dropping HTML code or drag and drop. They have image editing tools on there. So if you are new to sending emails and would like to check out some of those, here are some of the platforms that you could use. Once again, here we would recommend you checking out MailChimp and MyEmma if you're trying to figure out which one works better for you.
Awesome. So now we're going to go more through the style of setting up your emails. So what we recommend is very short and simple, to the point emails. It's more eye-appealing when you have clean lines, like this Nyberg's Ace email we have up on the screen. Just from the beginning, we have the logo at the top. We have the clear locations in the bar. And then we have three main, pages you could go to from the email, which is services, departments, and then a sale. So those are the three main areas of the website that we want to direct traffic to. We want to utilize bullet points as much as possible, especially if you have a lot of information. If you can condense those down into simple bullet points to get the information across to the customer, they're more likely to read it and actually retain the information. Also, we recommend seasonal updates to your email templates. This can be anything along the lines of the color of your font. If you have like a border image, you can change that depending on the season. All those kind of fun updates just keeps it a little bit more relevant. It keeps it interesting for the customer, and it makes them, want to come back and look at your email if it's not the same one every single time. Another big thing to keep consistent throughout your emails is brand awareness. So like I mentioned, we have the Nyberg's Ace logo at the very top. We have their colors throughout the email. And then we also have brand recognition for what they have in their store. So they had a big sale on these Traeger grills recently, which you can see in the image. We use the same colors of the Traeger logo, that orange and the black, throughout the email. It just kind of keeps it all consistent and keeps it flowing nicely together. And then one other big main thing for email, especially in 2019, which we have done some research on, is optimizing your emails for mobile. It's said that 45% of users are more likely to check their email on their phone than on the desktop, and that number is only going to continue to rise in the next following years. So you want to make sure that if they're pulling up this email on their phone, it looks great. It's easy to condense down. The images aren't getting blocked out. And on MailChimp and Emma specifically, there are ways that you can view via mobile preview, and that's a good way to just track to see if you're optimizing for mobile or not.
So next we're going to head over to color, and like Taylor said, having a responsive design is very important. What this means also is that nowadays everybody's looking at any ad or email through their phone, and if it takes longer than 3 seconds to load, the person will most likely just close out of it and not even see what it was. Some of the things that we have to keep in mind with color is image sizes, which some of the images that we pull from the internet are extremely large, and they don't necessarily need to be that big. It will still keep the color, and the image will still look the same even if you shrink it down in pixels. So some of the obvious, and as you can see here in this picture, it's an email from Walmart, and I'm sure Walmart has some other great emails, but this one is a little bit difficult to read just because of the color scheme that they chose. One of the main things that marketers try to do is to avoid light colors because they are difficult to read, especially on cell phones when it's a little bit smaller to look at, and also sometimes people will just look at this and not necessarily be able to read what it says and just move on. Another thing is to use easy-to-read font. So we all know that some of the cursive fonts look very, very pretty. However, if you have a lot of text with a lot of cursive font and on your cell phone with a light color, it's not going to go very well for you. If people look at it and see that it's hard to read or that it's tiny font, they're going to move on as well. So one of the things that we recommend is to use bold letters and make sure that there's enough spacing where if you're reading it from your phone, you can go ahead and just stick out your hand and it's still very readable. Another thing is to add dividers. One of the good things that Walmart did do in this email is that there's dividers for every product. So as you can see, they're all in their each square. We don't want to make sure that there's enough space between all of the products, and that there's something that tells apart the different sections. For example, as you can see here that there's 2 different sections with there being products in each. So always have dividers, or always have something that is going to separate your products and your sections so that people know that there's two different products or two different sections or whatever you're trying to aim for. And last but not least is to avoid too much text. As we all know, people do not like to read. People are more into pictures, into videos, into anything that doesn't have a long text that they need to read. So make sure when you are sending out emails that it's, like Taylor said, straight to the point, simple, and that you get your message across as one of the first things that you do.
Awesome. So next, one of the major points of email marketing is your subject line. This is the first thing that people are going to see in their mailboxes. So it's really important to have a clear, concise subject line, something that tells your audience what the email is going to be about, and also that establishes a call to action so it gives them a reason to click on that email. So you want to keep your audience in mind, who you're sending it to, and what your email is about. For instance, for our bargain buyers email for the ReStore Roaring Fork Valley, a lot of the times in the main subject line, we'll put something along the lines of awesome bargains in store today. And then on your subtext in the email, that's where we usually put our call to action, such as click now to view savings, or click now for coupon, or click now for discounted prices on bargains, or something along those lines. So they know that A, it's not like a spam email from you, and B, they know what they're getting into by clicking on that email. Another good tip for subject lines is to engage with questions. This just kind of piques customers' interest a little bit more than your standard email subject line. It gets them engaged with you. And then you can also kind of tie in your email with that subject line. You can ask a question and then answer it throughout that email for your clients. Another way to get people to click on your emails is to convey a sense of urgency for them. So for instance, if you're having a sale at the ReStore and it's 2 days only or 1 day only, you can send out an email and say something along the lines of, red hot sale today only, click now for savings, or click now before savings run out, something along those lines, to get them to open the email then instead of waiting a couple days down the line. And then also, like we have mentioned before, using segmentation is an awesome way to get people to open your emails. Birthday emails are probably the #1 use of segmentation, and there's a lot of ways that you can add in their names too. So you can say, happy birthday, Brian, here's an awesome 15% off coupon for you to use today only. Something along those lines. It just makes it a little bit more personal, makes the customer feel like you actually care about them, and it kind of differentiates from a massive email send out.
And we will be talking about policies. As we know, there is always rules and regulations to just about everything, and it applies to email as well. Some of the policies that we need to look into are CAN-SPAN rules, third-party lists and emails, privacy, opting out, and Canada's anti-spam legislation. So we'll go ahead and start with some of the ones that are pretty basic, and for example, opt-out. If somebody opts out of your email, you have to go ahead and make sure that they're no longer on your list. One of the things is on every single email template there must be an opt-out button. If there isn't, you could get in trouble, because that's one of the rules that email marketing has, is that a customer is allowed to opt out at any time that they would like. Another one would be to keep their privacy. Of course, if you are collecting emails and you ask for birthdays, or if you ask for anything along those lines, you have to make sure that you do not share that information with anybody else. As Taylor mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, third-party list and emails. So what this means is that if you have to buy an email list from someone, or you have to spend any money paying someone to get emails, that's a big red flag. Most of those emails probably won't work anyway, or they're going to be just emails that won't have anything to do with your company or your business. So buying a third-party list is always a big no. The next two that are very important are the CAN-SPAM Act, and there's seven rules that are pretty much every email has to apply to. So the first one would be to not use false or misleading headers. So what this means is that in every single email that you send, you have to say who it's from. So that's normally the sender name or saying from who. So that always has to be accurate, and it has to identify the person or the business that's sending the email. The next is you don't use deceptive subject lines. So what this means is that the subject line is accurate or is very relatable to what's in the email. So you're giving the client an idea of what they're going to open the email, when they're going to open the email, and what it's going to be. Next is identify the message as an ad. You want to make sure that you disclose clearly information that this is an advertisement. So, for example, you could say, like Taylor was saying, Red Hot buys now through January 25th or something, because they know that it's a sale, because there's a date and there's a sense of urgency as well. Also, you need to have your location on the template, so you just need to make sure that you tell your audience where you're located so they have somewhere to reach if they wanted to. And also, you have to honor, like I said before, honor their opt-out, which is part of the CAN-SPAM rules as well, and monitor what others are doing on your behalf. So, for example, if you have another company doing your marketing, you need to make sure that it aligns with what you want your emails to look like, and that it aligns with your business as well. So those are some of the CAN-SPAM rules. As far as Canada's anti-spam legislation, those are pretty much the same. Those deal with also some of the same things, which are you have to have the sender name, you have to honor opt-out, and you have to make sure that your location is always on every single email that you send out.
Awesome. So for the Habitat emails, I know a big feature is to put products on display that you have in the store. Either that you just got in that are awesome and you want to get the word out, or maybe you have some products that you've been sitting on for a few months and you want to push those out to your customers to get them to come buy them. So for our purposes in the Roaring Fork Valley, I actually go to the ReStore. I choose featured products to take pictures of, and I put it in an email template for them. So to keep in mind, we have two differential emails. We have a bargain buyers and a treasure hunters. So our bargain buyers is going to be $500 or less, and the treasure hunters is $500 or more. So this is kind of where you can have some fun and play around. You can pick some interesting objects in your store that you want to get rid of and feature those on that page. So I'll show you two of our emails right now. Having a little bit of technical difficulties, but as you can see, just on the right-hand side, I have a little image of one of our ReStore Treasure Hunters emails that we previously just did, where we're featuring Viking appliances. So they had an awesome special where they had a combination of a dishwasher, cooktop, and built-in oven that they were selling for $950. So this is just a great way to push bulk products. You can have special sales, create a sense of urgency, and also you can incorporate these email products into your social media blast.
So next we'll talk about direct sales. As we know that with Habitat, one of their main objectives is to obviously make sales like any other business. So one of the things that you want to integrate into your email is to, if you do have an e-commerce platform, to go ahead and always link out to that, or always have a link on your email template or from your products linking to your e-commerce platform that has all of your products. The more exposure somebody has to your products, the better, because let's say that you send out an email that has a piece of furniture, and your client is looking for furniture, but not specifically that one. They could go ahead and click on your e-commerce and see all of the inventory that you have, and you'll have a greater possibility of them buying something and stumbling upon something that they really like when there's more options, of course. Once again, linking all the products and on the website and sales. So as we can see here in this night guard email, we see that we have a blog post, but we also take the opportunity to add one of their products below, just because once again, like I said, the more exposure somebody has to some of your products, the better, because they might read this article and be like, okay, this is something that I really need. And if we didn't have the product on there, then they might be lazy and not want to go to your site and look for the product. So when you do have the products there, once again, it goes a long way. Another thing is knowing your audience. For example, here we do some stuff for Premier Medical Clinic, and we always try to know our audience by, if it's flu season, we'll go ahead and send an email about the flu. Come get your flu shots, for example. At Habitat for Humanity, I know there's some stands. So if it's summertime, you're going to go ahead and want to send some of those. You want to send stuff that is relevant. And also when you do collect emails, you could go ahead and ask them, like, what kind of emails would you like to receive? Like Taylor talked before, she sends out 2 emails, one that's 500 and below and one that's 500 and above. So knowing that maybe somebody's looking for something, a piece that's very expensive, high quality and stuff, you can go ahead and send out the emails to that audience instead of sending them emails that wouldn't apply to them. And last but not least is to be specific with your call to action. So as we can see here in the night guard email, we have a buy now. Always have a buy now, or always have a purchase today, or add to cart, or something along those lines, so that your customers do not forget about the product that they were looking at or were somewhat interested in before.
Awesome. Just to kind of wrap it up, we want to talk about engaging your community. So I know that the Habitat for Humanity is, this is a big part of why we're all here, and they do a lot of awesome work for community members in order to build homes for those people, which is so awesome. So you want to kind of get that message across to people. You want to create a message that resonates. This will kind of get people more intrigued with your mission and what you are doing. Especially up here in the Roaring Fork Valley, we have a couple projects going on, building some homes for teachers and local workforce and stuff like that. And so it's really important that we get the message across to ReStores shoppers that they're purchasing items to help build homes for those in our community. It kind of makes it a little bit more special. You want to encourage action, which this could be many different things. For our ReStore Roundup emails, that's kind of like our basic bi-weekly email to kind of keep the community up to date on news. It's also a great place where you could have volunteer links for people to sign up if they want to get in with building homes for those in the community, as well as possibly donations, all that kind of stuff. Another way that is pretty important to engage your community, and this is more so along the lines of your social media platforms as well as your email platforms, but you want to set up autoresponders. I know it's hard to constantly be online and be responding to people's questions and concerns and reviews, and all that stuff gets a little overwhelming. So a lot of times on your platforms you can set up autoresponders to send a simple message back to that customer saying, we've received your inquiry, like, thank you so much for writing into us, we'll get back to you within 24 hours. That way it lets your customer know that you're there, that you hear them, and that you care, and that you'll get back to them as soon as you possibly can. And then obviously we're in a very social age right now, so it's really important to include your social media platform links to your emails. So if you have a Facebook account, an Instagram, maybe you have a YouTube page or something like that, you can add those social links in to your website, or to your email, and that gets a little bit more engagement from your customers as well. So we wanted to show just a couple. We wanted to show a couple of our monthly newsletters and ReStore roundups. And Liz, I apologize, I am not able to click on those links from my computer. Is there a way to pull those up?
Yeah, there is. If you want to pull it up on a regular web browser, then we can share your screen. Would that work?
Okay, perfect. Yep, I can do that real quick here. I got it on my... Sorry about that. If anyone has any questions while we're getting this set up right now, we can always go through that. I know we're kind of short on time, and then we can share these emails with you.
The conference has been unmuted.
If anyone has any questions, you are unmuted, so feel free to ask them.
Okay, so let's see here. I'll pull up these. See if I can share this. Yes.
Can you see our screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, for the ReStore Roundup email?
Uh-huh.
Awesome. So this is one that we just designed actually in the last 6 months for the ReStore and the Roaring Fork because they had a lot of awesome stuff that was going on. We wanted to get the news out to people in the community of what they were doing. So like you can see at the top, we have just kind of a fun little logo that resonates with what the email is about. It has the Habitat house logo here and the green color scheme, followed by a place for people to click to give, to volunteer, to donate, or to schedule a pickup. So those are the 4 main things that Habitat likes to focus on up here. The name of the email and the location of where the ReStore is at. Like Nancy was saying earlier, those are all really important to follow for the policies of building an email. And then we kind of just get into the meat of the email. This is one when we were promoting our new ReStore Insider app that we created. So in this MailChimp thing, you can click on the pictures and it'll take you to a link for the Habitat website, which is also awesome because then you can drive more page views to said website and get some more engagement with that. You can add links to pretty much anything in here. It's an awesome tool in MailChimp. We also, like Nancy was mentioning earlier, we have some dividers in here, these blue color-coded to Habitat colors, just to kind of break the email up a little bit, make it seem not so compact and daunting. We have a featured product in here to kind of get some bulk product pushed out. And then we have just information about the We Build custom cabinets that the ReStore Roaring Fork has, and they partner with the Crowley Correctional Facility to make those cabinets. So obviously we have a bunch of learn more buttons, a little bit of call to action throughout the email. And then the last little bit of this engagement is just our ReStore Reflections, which is a review page on Facebook. So as you can see, this Tell Us How We're Doing is linked, and it'll take you directly to the Facebook reviews page so you can leave a review automatically. You can also click on this image here and it'll take you directly to that same site as well. So just a little example for you about how we try to engage our customers and set up our email templates to benefit the Roaring Fork ReStore up here.
So I do realize we're a little bit over time, so the rest of the emails that we do have are emails that are from different clients. However, they all have good aspects of either dividers or how clean and easy their template is, the look, the feel, the color, the style, the subject lines, all along those lines, all these different emails show. So we'll go ahead and just skip over that since I do realize we're over time, and we'll open it up for any questions, and we'll stick around for a bit to answer those. We understand if you need to leave, and if you do, thank you so much for joining us today.
The conference has been unmuted.
All right, and everybody is unmuted, so if you have any questions, go ahead and ask now. Okay, I don't think we have any, so thank you ladies again for taking the time out of your day to do this webinar. I think everyone who joined us has definitely learned a couple of new things, and yeah, thank you so much again.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. That was awesome, and yeah, we hope people learned some new exciting stuff to help get some emails off the ground.
Awesome, thank you, and everybody have a great day.
Thanks, you too.